My name is Serena Buffalino. I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. My career started off as a special education teacher. When my students found out that there were kids in this world that did not have the right to go to school, inspired them. The concept behind the Haiti School Building Project was a small handful of youth in Toronto would help a small handful of youth here in Haiti. The Haiti School Building Project finally opened up last year, September 2018. It has successfully been running for 7 months now, and what I have seen is nothing shy of beautiful. One person with the support of others can literally transform the planet.
Good morning. Good morning. Have you ever heard of monetizing your profit and loss statement? Do you know all of the valuable, really valuable information that is in your profit and loss statement? Or is it just something that your accountant prepares for you and you file it away and wait for the next time that he prepares another one, he or she? After today, you will never again look at it in the same way. You'll see it as an opportunity to know where and how you can impact the growth of your company. So welcome everyone. I'm glad to have you all here this morning. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you today as I want to walk you through a slide presentation. So let me bring that up. All right, there we are. And let's see. Yeah, that will work. So we have a lot of information to go over this morning, and this is really important stuff if you want to learn how to monetize your profit and loss statement. And you may never have heard that term before, monetize your profit and loss statement. So you're going to understand that, though, by the time we finish this session. So this comes from a masterclass that I did recently called The 7 Essential Financial Elements Every Business Owner Needs to Know and Understand. Do you know what your profit and loss is really telling you and how to profit from it? So I want to discuss some very simple principles, financial principles, so that you can do a quick analysis of your business's finances and expenses, and then use that information to uncover dramatic increases in your profitability. Even if you're a relative expert in the area of finance, I believe that you'll find there are hidden opportunities that you're overlooking in your business. And from the start, I want you to see that you can generate dramatic increases in your profit just by making these small incremental improvements in only a few areas of your business that we're going to talk about today. For example, did you know that if you can make 3 small changes of only 5% each, you could see a 45% increase in your profit? Wouldn't you want to know how to do that? I'm sure you would. I know most people would. But before I begin, I want to give you a disclaimer. I want you to know I am not an accountant. So the information that I'm going to present today, it has been vetted by multiple accountants and CPAs. However, states, territories, and countries all have their own specific law governing accounting and finance. So always seek out professional advice from a trusted source before taking action when it comes to these things. All right, so let's start off with understanding the power of your profit and loss statement. Together, we're going to establish a strong financial foundation in your business upon which you can build for years to come. We're going to do this. We're going to look at how you can find instant and immediate cash flow as a small business owner, how to uncover hidden revenue using your profit and loss statement. And I'll simplify this process by helping you to understand the 3 key numbers in your P&L statement. And finally, I'll show you how to use those numbers to create exponential growth for your business. And by doing so, you will dominate your market. So let's begin by examining this profit and loss statement. What I have on the screen for you right now is an example of the basic elements of a P&L statement. Now, when you get yours from your accountant, it's going to look a little different from this. It's going to be a lot longer, most likely. And what it will have is detail under each of these 7 category headings. But I want you to understand thoroughly what these are. All right, so on the left hand, we have the terms that we're going to use for these areas today. And on the right hand, we have either a formula as to how we calculate it, or we have other terms that other people may call it. So what I call revenue, and we're going to use as a reference today, others may call gross revenue or income. What we look at in terms of, well, let's go back. On the revenue, what we're talking about is all of the money received from sales in your business, right? On the next one is COGS, or cost of goods sold. Now, cost of goods sold is all of the expenses involved in making a sale. It's, sorry, we also refer to it as variable cost, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit more because this is one of the confusing areas for people. But these are the costs that are associated with any sale that you make. They are variable costs. Let me give you a quick example. Several years ago, I owned a staffing firm. And one of the things that was a cost of goods sold for us was anything related to the payroll for the employees that we placed in our clients' operations, not my internal employees, but the employees that were our product, our service. We would find and qualify employees for other companies, right? So when we paid those employees, that was a COGS, or cost of goods sold, right? Now, many times people in the service industries have a very low cost of goods sold. They don't have a lot of costs involved in actually making the sale. And so that's one of those areas that if that's the case for you, it's an area that I can't impact much with what I'm going to share with you today. But let's go on. Let's talk about the next one, which is our gross profit. That's what's left after we subtract our cost of goods sold from our revenue. Okay, that's pretty simple, right? And what's left, that gross profit, is what covers all of our overhead and hopefully gives us some net profit to put into our pockets. Or as a friend of mine says, put into your jeans. So we're going to subtract our COGS from revenue to get our gross profit. But then we need to understand what that gross profit percentage is. And that's a quick calculation, a little bit of math here, not too intensive for those of you who tend to glaze over when we talk about math. We're going to take the gross profit, this number, whatever we come up with here in this gross profit, and we're going to divide it by our revenue and multiply that times 100 to get our gross profit percentage. That's a key number that we're going to work with throughout this session. We then have our overhead, or fixed costs. And the fixed costs are things like your rent and insurance and utilities, things of that nature. And we subtract that from our gross profit, which leaves us our net profit. We calculate that percentage by taking this net profit number divided by our revenue times 100, gives us a net profit. Hope this is making sense so far. Let me just plug some numbers in to show you what that looks like. So if we have revenue of 300,000 and the cost of our goods sold, or those payroll costs and other costs as I had in my firm to actually sell the product, we have 180,000 here. That leaves us a gross profit of $120,000, or a gross profit percentage of 40%. We have $60,000 in overhead expenses. These are our fixed costs. They pretty much stay the same every month. leaving us a net profit. If we subtract that 60,000 from our 120,000, we have a net profit of 60,000, or a net profit percentage of 20%. That should make sense so far. Now, there's only 3 numbers in this that you have the ability to impact. The rest are all numbers that are impacted by or created by those 3 numbers. So we want to make dramatic financial gains with 0 cost. And the places that we do that are by increasing revenue, decreasing our COGS, and decreasing our overhead. So let's see what that looks like here, because we only have those 3 things to work with. You can impact your revenue, COGS, and overhead in a way that brings more value and profit to the bottom line. So we're going to start with revenue. Our revenue in our example was 300,000. That's what the company sold over the past 12 months. So the total amount of sales, 300,000. Now, this 300,000 does not indicate your ability to generate profit. How many businesses have we seen that make millions or billions of dollars and have no profits? And most of the time we hear people talk about revenue, generate revenue. But revenue does not necessarily create profit. We want to make sure that what we're doing is generating profit. So the next area that we look at is our cost of goods sold. In this example, it's 180,000, and these are the costs that were incurred to deliver on your contract of sale. So what are those? Costs incurred to deliver are labor, either direct or contractual labor, materials, scrap and rework, packaging, distribution and shipping, and sales commissions. Those are some of the basic areas that you can impact in terms of your cost of goods sold. Now, overhead, how can we reduce overhead? Some of the primary elements of overhead are mortgage or rent, insurance, utilities, office supplies, office salaries, general maintenance, advertising, janitorial, and auto expenses. Those are some of the basics, right? Now, reducing our overhead is one of the fastest ways to impact our bottom line. Every dollar that you eliminate of these fixed costs drops directly to your net profit. That is not true in terms of reducing your cost of goods sold, because they're a percentage and not a full 100%. So this is one of the fastest, easiest ways to impact your bottom line, is simply reduce your expenses. Now, as I mentioned, there are only these 3 numbers that we want to focus on and improve in order to help our business. So you may be asking yourself, how can these 3 numbers, how can we generate any meaningful results with just those 3? How can they significantly impact my business? So this is a tool that I use to demonstrate exponential growth, and it's called the Profit Growth Calculator. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to plug in some basic numbers for you here. This is an example of a company. So let's say that this company generates 1,000 leads over the year, and they close 25% of those into clients. So they now have, I need to increase the size of this a little bit here. So they now have, one second for me, folks. There we go. Now I can see things better. All right. So now we're going to get into the customer aspect, right? So we want to, if they now have 250 customers, and if each of those customers buys from them 10 times a year at $100, then we now have total revenue of $250,000. Our profit margin per sale is only, and if our profit margin per sale is only 25%, now we have bottom line $62,500 that we are earning annually. But let's see what happens if we just increase each of these areas by 5%. So I've added that in, and you can see that it is now, if we just add a 10% improvement in each of these areas, We're now generating a profit of $100,490. We've gone from 62.5 to over six figures in profit just by a small 10% improvement in each of these areas. Now, most business owners, I think you would agree, would be very happy to almost double their profits with that small 10% improvement. But watch what happens when we increase each of these areas by by 50%. We now have $474,000, almost $500,000 in net profit. Net profit, not revenue. We're not concerned about the revenue at the moment. We're concerned about the net profit. So, would that intrigue you to be able to do that? Now, you may be thinking that a 50% gain in each of these areas would be next to impossible. Okay, Regina, that's kind of pie in the sky stuff, right? But I want to show you how easy it is. We call it child's play here. That it's so easy, it's child's play. So let's see how we do that. Here's our basic example we had in the beginning. We had our 300,000 revenue, 180,000 in cost of goods sold, leaving us a gross profit of 120,000 with a 40% gross profit margin, our overhead of 60,000, and our net profit of 60,000 or 20%. If we increase our revenue by 5%, that just brings us up to 315,000, right? If we lower our cost of goods sold by 5%, we gain another $9,000 through that reduction. We gain another $9,000 towards our profit. And if we lower our overhead by 5%, we gain another 3,000. That's a 45% increase in profits in just these three areas. A 5% improvement in these three areas: revenue, COGS, and overhead. Remember, those are the only things you can impact. Everything else is a result of those. So, how do most business owners attempt to increase their profits? Well, we run sales that often take away all of our profits. We haven't worked out our numbers to start with, so we don't know what we really have available. We often then run advertising without a strategy. So we're just spending money, just throwing money at that, right? We need to have a strategic plan before we do any marketing and advertising. Very important to have the strategic plan. So, in order to get a 50% increase, and we looked at a 5% increase in those three areas. In order to get a 50% increase in your profit, all you need is a 5.5% improvement in each of those areas. And that's why we call it child's play, right? So what we teach in this 7 Essential Financial Elements Masterclass is how you get that, 5.5% or more. What do you have to do to get 5% improvements in multiple areas? Now, we've talked about these three areas, but within these three areas, there are sub areas. There are things that we can do. I showed you some of the things that impact your COGS and some of the things that impact your overhead. So each of those things can be impacted, right? We can make potentially a 5% or more improvement in each of the subcategories of that. And I want to show you what that could look like. Because you recall, I've told you, it's child's play. We want to see what that would be like. So let me show you another screen here. Let's see. Okay, so I need to remove that from the stream. I have to get smarter than the software, folks. And I want to bring this in. All right, so this is, oh, shucks. Okay, so let me make some adjustments here to what you're seeing. All right, so this is my profit acceleration simulator that I have access to. It's not my software, but I have the rights to this software. And this helps us understand what kind of an impact we can make on our profit and loss statement. So I've plugged into this the numbers that we were using previously here, our $300,000 gross revenue, our 40% gross profit margin, and 20% net profit margin, and assuming we're doing this in US dollars. Now, I've also plugged in 5% and it will apply that 5% to each of these various areas. If we impacted these 12 areas, such as cutting costs, getting our market dominating position right, having our compelling offer right, increasing our prices, upselling, cross-selling, downselling, bundling, there's 12 of these areas here. If we were able to make a 5% improvement in each of these 12 areas that are subcategories, then we would now be looking at a profit improvement of $107,165, or a 178% improvement in profit. Our annual gross revenue would go up to a little over $500,000. Now, I want to show you, though, something else here. There are about 40 different areas that we can impact in your company. And so I've opened up the rest of the areas. So now we're looking at all 40. And look what happens here. Now we see that we can impact our profit. We can have a new profit. The impact is $706,000. The new annual profit, $766,000. A 5-year profit impact of $3.5 million. Here's our annual gross revenue now, almost $2 million, $1,708,000. Is that not really sweet? That, I believe, is really sweet. So I also want to just share with you that one of the things that we do once we do this with a company and we share with that company what the possibilities are for them, then we send them this report. They get a report in the mail, in their email. And in that report, it gives them several ideas of what they can do in each of these 12 areas, the first 12 areas. So going back, let's go back to our slideshow. Give me just a second here. And okay, now we're back in. So I want to take us. One of the things I want to share with you is that a lot of times we attempt to increase our revenue by that amount that we're looking for on that bottom line. So I've worked the numbers in reverse here, and we don't have a lot of time to spend on this, but if you were to try and increase your revenue by that $67,500, or that same $27,000 increase that we made back when we just did the 555, 5 percentage points, we impacted revenue by 5%, COGS by 5%, and overhead by 5%, which was a $27,000 increase in net profit. You would have to increase your revenue by $67,500 to get that same profit if you didn't do it the way we did, with just the 5% increase, 5% decrease in COGS, and 5% decrease in overhead. So I just want to share with you, come back here, we'll stop these screen shares. All right, so just to wrap up, if you would like more information about how all of this works, this is a pretty quick overview of monetizing your profit and loss statement. If you'd like to know more, or you'd like to run your numbers through my simulator, have us show you what's possible in your business, then you can join my Facebook group, and we're going to put that address up here, I believe. Transform your business into a profit-making machine is the name of the Facebook group. Let me see here. I think, okay. Not sure that we're able to get that to you right now. But if you'll just go to Facebook, transform your business in, there it is. Thank you so much. Into a profit making, whoops, nope, that's not it. That one is, that is the podcast link. So Facebook, transform your business into a profit making machine. Go there, join the group, and we'll be teaching you more. We'll have videos, workbooks, all kinds of things in there, and be sharing more information with you on how to monetize your P&L statement, how to improve these 40 areas in your business. Hope that you found this really valuable today and that you'll come back and join us every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. Thank you. Bye for now.
Yeah, if you think you're going to do it in your own strength, then you know what? Yeah, you can do it.
COVID, it's been helping people move their businesses from offline or brick and mortar to online.
Systems are more important than skills as an entrepreneur today.
It's totally okay to reinvent yourself multiple times, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Profitable Coaching Conversations with WendyY Bailey. If you're a coach, speaker, or industry expert, you're in the right place for sales and marketing wisdom and insight to grow your coaching business. Now, here's your host, Income Acceleration Mentor, WendyY Bailey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. I am indeed WendyY Bailey, and I am here for another bonus episode of the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show. And as a reminder, guest episodes are released on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, and bonus episodes are live on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. So be sure that you check us out, mark your calendar to join us, because there's always a really profitable coaching conversation going on when we release episodes and when I go live. Today's episode is all about important systems, resources, apps that you need if you really truly want to grow your coaching business. So as a reminder, if you would like to see more episodes, I don't think I have a banner for it. Let me create a banner real quick. But if you'd like to see past episodes, you can go to Profitable Coaching Conversations, if I can spell, conversations.com. And you'll find old episodes, past episodes there, so you can catch up and watch us at any time. Today's episode, as I said before, is all about systems and tools and resources and processes you need to be thinking of when you are trying to grow your coaching business, or if you're trying to scale your coaching business. Now, scaling your coaching business simply means preparing your business for growth. That means you're putting in infrastructure that makes the difference. You're automating as many processes as you have. You're documenting those processes so that you can automate those processes. Automation, systems, processes, tools all give you the baseline for what you need to create freedom in your business. And that's what scaling really can do for you. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the crucial ones. These are not the end all be all, but I am going to give you processes along the way that I think will help you in understanding this. I'm WendyY Bailey. I'm a 20-year veteran business and sales coach, and I show coaches how to master business, marketing, and sales. So this topic is well within my wheelhouse to share with you. And I'll share some of the good, the bad, and the ugly as I go through this. And be sure that if you are catching the replay, that in the comments below where you are watching it, you type replay or hashtag replay so that I know you were here and can thank you for tuning in. So let's get going. The first process, and to me, this is one of the top ones you want to have. You want to have something for invoicing and payment processing. This is about the tool, but it's also about automating this system for you. And when you think of invoicing, you think of payment processing, it should be automatic. It shouldn't be tied to you. If it is tied to you, your invoicing process must be easy for you to access. And based on being easy for you to access, you can create an invoice that you need to quickly without a client having to wait on that invoice. You can process payments without having to wait on clients to make those payments. There's a lot of beauty in having an invoicing and payment processing system. So let me tell you what I see as some of the best that you can do. I've used a number of them, and I'm going to tell you about the ones I know, and I'll tell you about the ones that I've heard of. The payment processing tool that I use, it's a payment gateway and a payment processing tool, is Stripe, S-T-R-I-P-E. Stripe integrates with a number of different payment front-end GUI processors because it doesn't always do pretty invoices, okay? And I'm one of those people. I like pretty forms. I like branded information. And so for me, Stripe is the back end of what I use. Moonclerk is the front end of what I use. And Moonclerk charges you a certain amount based on the volume of transactions that go through their cart. It starts out at about, I want to say it's like $30 a month or $32 a month. And then as your volume goes up monthly, then they increase that based on that. They also have some add-ons that I'm going to talk about later. But I use Moonclerk with the payment gateway of Stripe. I have used authorize.net, which is great. You can create forms if you have some technical ability or you have someone who can create the pretty forms for you. They can upload your logos and make them branded as well. But authorize.net is another resource. I have used One Shopping Cart before. It's not a true invoicing and payment processing system. It really is more of a shopping cart that allows you to create autoresponders and all that kind of stuff. I haven't used them in a long, long time, but when I use them, I know that you could brand whatever you did and you could automate your invoicing in a way that really served and supports you in a big way. Okay. Some other ones that I've heard of HoneyBook. I've heard of FreshBooks. I've heard of PayPal. I'm not a PayPal fan at all. Like, I'd never use PayPal. Even when I'm invited to be part of other people's events, I don't use PayPal. There's a reason for it. I won't go into it, but I truly and totally believe that there are a lot of other platforms out there that are easier for you to use than PayPal. Okay. And they're cost effective at the same time. I'm trying to think of some others. I think in terms of invoicing and payment processing, that's kind of what I've heard of. Kartra, Kajabi, they're all kind of part of that environment, but I've never used them. I've been on the receiving end of them, and I've seen that they work pretty well. So those are the invoicing and payment processing apps that you can use. Now, let me say this about invoicing and payment processing. Having that I've been in this industry and in business for more than almost 20 years now, I want to tell you that when you are coaching someone individually, it's important to take the credit card information before you close out your sales call. Then you can process the card. Then you can process it. You can process it even during the call if you want to. But the goal for you is to go ahead and ensure that payment is made. So that's just a little bit of a tip for you that I think will help you. But when you are really looking at growing your coaching business, you need to know how you're going to process your invoices. You need to know how you're going to do your invoices. If they're over a certain amount, like if they're $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 in one pop, you may want to do that via bank wire, via ACH transaction, right? So think about what you need to do to automate as much as possible your invoicing and your payment processing to be sure that you have a system or a tool in place that will support you in making sure you're able to get your payments quickly. Now, this is the second one that I have. It's digital delivery. This is a process by which your content is delivered automatically, electronically, when someone purchases your product. I've heard of a couple, but I'm going to tell you what I use. Once again, I use MoonClerk. MoonClerk has an add-on feature that they added last year before last, called digital delivery. And when they say digital delivery, it means you literally upload your product or your program, your digital bundle, whatever it is, to their site. And when someone purchases it, MoonClerk processes the delivery of that digital product electronically. They also track it to make sure that there's an email that goes out if for some reason they missed the download opportunities. Make sure that you have a system for digital delivery. I've had clients who have worked with PayHip as a digital delivery tool. I guess it's easy to use. I've seen it working, but it's not what I use. Like I told you, I use digital delivery, and that is part of MoonClerk. Whatever you use, make sure that you're not having to make your client wait to receive something that they've requested. You want digital delivery when you use your lead magnets. That's your ethical bribe, your subscribe bribe, your irresistible free offer, whatever that is. You need to have digital delivery of that. I did a summit. I hosted a summit about 6 years ago, but can I tell you that's a real downer for them because they weren't able to capture leads by having a digital delivery system. You may also want to include digital delivery. I'm going to say may. You want to include digital delivery in your CRM. You want to include it in your CRM or customer relationship management tool. So digital delivery is really important. It keeps you from having to try to deliver stuff to people manually. You should not be emailing anything manually to anybody. There should be a format for you to do that, okay? A tool, a system, a process for you to do that. The next one I want to talk about is website security. I've been hacked a couple of times. I've had viruses on my sites a couple of times. And one of the things I've learned is if you don't have something in place to safeguard your assets, your website, your assets on your website, then you're going to, open yourself up for some challenges in that area. And what I've done is I have all of my websites are WordPress. So I use WordFence. I use the upgraded, the paid premium version because it tracks more attacks and it has more malware security as part of what they offer. And, because it has that, I get notified when it protects me. WordFence is great. WordFence is the name of the tool. I also have used and still use Securi, WP Securi, SUCURI is what it is. And it tells you about login attempts. It tells you about, when people are actually trying to hack your site, it gives you notifications so you can shut things down if that's what's called for. Okay. So website security is really, really important. Again, it prevents hackers from getting in. It prevents malware from being installed on your site. It prevents, attempted logins that are incorrect, people trying to guess your password. All of that becomes important when you're trying to protect your website assets. Welcome, whoever is here. Glad you're here. If you're joining me, go ahead and let me know, say hi in the comments and let me know that you're here. If you are joining me and you're on Facebook, be sure that you get Facebook permission, StreamYard permission so that I can see exactly who you are. And there's a link that you just have to click and it'll allow you to do that. I'm talking about important tools, resources, applications, and systems that you need to grow and scale your coaching business. So the first three I gave you were invoicing and payment processing, digital delivery, Now I'm talking about website security. The next one I want to talk about, and keep in mind, these are not in any kind of specific order. They're not prioritized. I would say that the invoicing is ranked way up there. You need to have that. But the rest of these are not necessarily in order of importance. What I did was I picked the 10 most necessary, the 10 most important tools you need to know, the 10 most important processes you need to have in place. Okay. The next one is calendar and automated scheduling. The time of you going back and forth with someone over the time that they have available to meet with you is over. If you're still manually trying to set appointments, you're missing out on the opportunity for freedom when it comes to managing your calendar. Be sure that when you are looking at managing your calendar, hello, just got a minute to join. Thank you so much for being here, Facebook user. When you are planning events, when you are connecting and collaborating, when you are networking and you're getting to know people, when clients want to book sessions with you, when partners need to schedule time with you, when you need to know your availability without having to always go back to your calendar to do it, I highly recommend that you have an automated scheduling tool. And there are tons out there. I have used Time Trade. I used Time Trade for probably about 10 or 12 years. I just recently moved over to Calendly, Calendly. A lot of people have moved over to Calendly, and I think it's because it's so robust, right? I love Calendly today, and I moved from Time Trade to Calendly. You can also do it with Acuity, so don't feel like you've got to get this because that's what I'm telling you to do. There's Schedule Once, there's Schedule Hub, there's Zoho scheduling. I can't remember what they call their tool, but there are tons of calendar and scheduling apps out there. BookMe is another one. My barber uses BookMe. You know, when I was going to a barber, he used a book, GenBook. That's what it was, GenBook. So don't get caught up on what you need to invest to have a calendar or automated scheduling tool. You just need to do it. So the beauty of having a calendar and automated scheduling tool is, first of all, it frees you up so you're not always looking at your calendar. It frees you up to share your availability without actually it eating into your time, right? You connect it to your Google Calendar, your Apple Calendar. You connect it so that if there are any conflicts, they're already resolved within the tool. The thing that I love about Calendly, hello and welcome. The thing that I love about Calendly is you can actually integrate it with Zoom if that's where you want to have your calls. You can integrate it with other things. You can integrate it with your payment processing so that people will have to pay for being part of what you are offering when they schedule the time with you. There's a lot you can do with a calendar and automated scheduling tool, okay? And the other thing I want to make sure you know is you can create multiple types of appointments. Calendly can be free, or I think it's like $140 something a year. So it's worth the investment to get the paid version so that you can create all of the kind of integrations that you want and need in your business. The next type of tool I want to talk about is email marketing or your customer relationship management tool. Now, if you don't have one, and maybe you're trying to work with a budget to get your email marketing and CRM tool, I highly recommend MailChimp. They have a lighter version of it, and you can use it and just purchase add-on time. It's been a few years since I used it, so I hope that's valid information. But there are so many out there that you should not have to worry about finding a CRM that fits your needs and your budget. My tool of choice, and I've been using it now for almost 6 years, is ActiveCampaign. I love ActiveCampaign because it allows me to create multiple automations, aka funnels, based on the lead magnets that I share. It allows some conditional sharing of campaigns based on who needs to get information and who doesn't. Maybe people are already enrolled in something, so they don't need to get information. All of that is part of Active Campaign. It's a pretty robust platform, and I just love it. I just love it. It's easy to use, right? And when you find that something is easy to use, more than it just being email marketing, it becomes the database that helps drive your business. When you have a CRM, a true customer relationship management tool, you're not having to track those follow-ups. You're not having to track those sales calls. You put them in Active Campaign, you set the reminders, and they remind you when you're supposed to reach back out to someone, or when it's someone's birthday, or when you're supposed to be nurturing a relationship with someone. That becomes very, very important in your conversion process. Nurturing relationships when you have a CRM is totally doable. It's totally reasonable for you to do. So I've given you about 6 of these so far. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me give you one more. Lead capture. You've got to have a lead capture tool. Now, just last year, Active Campaign started creating lead pages. So you can create lead pages in Active Campaign. I haven't used it yet. I sort of tinkered with it a little bit, but my goal is to step away from doing so much technical stuff and have my team do it. So once I got to a point where I felt like I was in the weeds, I was like, no, this isn't something I want to learn how to do. The other thing about Active Campaign related to the CRM as well as the lead capture functionality that it has, they have a tremendous support team. You can literally book a training session once a month. They have office hours where they train you on certain things. They ask questions once a month as well. Their support team and their support system is bar none the best, I'm telling you, because they give you a lot of support so that you're not out there fumbling with their tool. The other thing that I want to say about lead capture is, if you don't have a lead capture tool of sorts, you can do like I do. I have the plugin on my WordPress website, Elementor. Elementor is a plugin, and it allows me to create lead pages all day. It allows me to capture leads all day. Now, you may also want to have a lead generation system where you are automatically capturing leads every day. That goes beyond just having an opt-in page or a lead capture page with a CRM behind it. That means that you're running ads, you're running evergreen webinars or master classes. All of that is part of a lead generation system. I'm not going into that here, but you need to at minimum have a way to capture leads, and having a lead capture page is a way for you to do that. Okay. When you have a lead capture page, it says I'm open for business, right? When you have a lead magnet or multiple lead magnets, it says I'm open for business. And part of your lead generation system must be part of that CRM automation process, because you don't want to have to deliver emails to someone. You want to automatically nurture the relationship. And that's what an automation, AKA funnel, will do to support you. Okay. I teach my clients a 21-day funnel that I invite them to duplicate 4 times. It takes time to build relationships. It takes time to nurture relationships with people, right? So you've got to be of the mindset that time is what's important. And as long as you're top of mind, present in your potential clients' visibility, then you have an opportunity to convert them to be a client. So let me say this about, what I've been talking about related to these important systems and apps and processes and resources. It's really important before you begin to plug in apps that you understand the process that you're going through to really help people, right? You need to know what that process is. And if you're saying, well, Wendy, why I don't know what that means, think about the steps you want to take, or the steps you want people to take, or the steps you already take. And it's something you do daily, weekly, or monthly. That's a repeatable process. Write down the steps so you know where the handoffs are. Then you can decide where to plug in systems. Then you can decide where to plug in automation in a way that truly, truly supports and serves you, okay? In a way that creates the freedom that you want. Document your repeatable processes. Then you can start to plug in these systems that I've been giving you, okay? And as I said before, it's not the end all be all list. It is a nice, robust list for you to actually begin using if you're trying to grow or scale your coaching business, okay? The next one I'm going to talk about is a must-have. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care where you are in your process. You need to have cloud storage. And don't get it twisted. Cloud storage just means you can access it from anywhere. It's not on your laptop, so that if your laptop gets hit by lightning, you're not worried because you have everything already stored in the cloud. And don't get confused about what cloud storage is either. When you think of cloud storage, I want you understanding that it just means it's off-site, right? It just means it's accessible from wherever you are. And you don't have to pay for all cloud storage. I use a number of different cloud storage tools and applications. I use Google Drive. Yes, that's cloud storage. I use OneDrive. Yes, that's cloud storage. I have used Dropbox in the past. I still today use Amazon S3. It's a cloud storage platform as well. My cloud storage tool of choice is Box.com. Box.com is what I love. I've been using it now, I want to say probably about 15 years, 14, 15 years, a long time. And I've seen them grow a lot in terms of functionality, in terms of support. I love what Box does to really help me manage my files, right? What I started doing, and this is a quick tip for you, what I started doing years ago is when I created content, I would upload it to Box. Every so often, I would go out and I would sort of create folders and categories, and I would organize the content there. And what I discovered over time was I had a really nice warehouse of content. I had a really cool storage vault of all of my content that I could share very easily. I can add links, I can share links, I can expire links, I can rename stuff, I can categorize stuff. I love cloud storage, and my cloud storage tool of choice is Box, okay? The next one I'm going to talk about, most people don't think of this as an important resource or important tool, but if you want to gather data from your clients, potential clients, collaborators, where you need information, any kind of information you need, having a forms tool is a great way to do it. I've used a ton of those as well. Google Forms is one that I've seen used. Typeforms is another one that I've seen used. I've used emailmeform.com. That's another tool that I've used. I used it for years. Then I started going to Jotform, and I use the paid version of Jotform because I don't like the Jotform logo and all of that kind of stuff. It's a branding thing to me. So when you think about using forms to gather information, you can gather informations in your pre-qualifying questionnaire to potential clients. You can use a form to gather research from your mailing list about something you have coming up or what works and what doesn't. You can gather information after you deliver a program or a webinar or masterclass where people can give you feedback about that. You can ask questions about a project you're working on. Data information, data gathering is what you're doing, and you need a good form to do that so that you're not having to replicate it over and over again. I've been on summits and I've held summits. Having forms is a great way to get people to add their information, to give you their information without you having to, write it down and keep it all in email. It just doesn't work that way. Because I host this web TV show and audio podcast, one of the things that I learned early on was that I needed to have a form to gather all of the guest information, a place where they could put it all, and I didn't have to go see if they did it. I just could go to that platform. Jotform is what I use. I go to Jotform, I look up that person's name, their submission. It has their photo, their bio, it has everything I need for my team to actually release their episode. So forms is really, really big. The next one I'm going to talk about is whether you have a team or not, is a project management tool. I've used a bunch of them. I've used Teamwork, I've used Basecamp. They're all really similar. If you're working every single day in your business, you need to track what activities you need to complete, right? Your tasks and activities you need to complete. I came from an IT telecom world in corporate management, and I learned how to manage my activities to be really, really productive using project management skills. Having a project management application will help you to do the exact same thing. Okay, so my tool of choice is Asana. Asana is great, again, whether you have a team or not. It allows you to put in the task, to prioritize it, to set dates for it. And based on that, you really feel a sense of productivity and accomplishment. You can see where you are at any given point in time on any particular project. The last one I want to give you is when you have a team in place. I recently met with an ops manager because I'm, sort of rebuilding my team again. And one of the questions she asked me was, what do you use for team communications? And I thought, wow, I love her already, because you got to know how you're going to communicate with your team. I use Slack. And Slack is there's a free version, there's a paid version, and it's really robust. You can integrate it with a lot of things so that you don't have to worry about that integration in the future. I love, I've used ClickUp. Excuse me, I had a team that wanted me to use ClickUp, so I used ClickUp for my team. And I'm trying to think some of the other ones I've used. I can't think of another team communication I've used, but there are tons of them out there. You just need to make sure that it allows you to communicate with the team without sending text messages. Oh, that's the other one I was trying to think of. What's up? What's up? WhatsApp. I've used that before. I still use that today. So you've got to find something that works for you. But it's not enough for you to send emails back and forth to your team. You've got to have a way that you all can communicate with each other in one place. Yeah. So, that's been the top 10 important resources I wanted to share. There's so many more that I could share. If you want me to do a part 2 where I share more tools, more resources, more apps with you, I'll be glad to do that. Just share it in the comments below. But this has been an episode of the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show. If you missed any part of it, or if you're catching the replay, type #replay to let me know you were here. You can also go to profitablecoachingconversations.com and you'll see previous episodes located there as well. Thanks so much for being here. I hope that you will join the Profitable Coaching Society. It's a growing community of coaches on Facebook who are there sharing their business practices. They're sharing resources. They're talking and connecting with each other. There's a lot going on over in the society, and I would love for you to be there. You may also want to join me for the Profitable Coaching Club. That's on Clubhouse. You can go to profitablecoachingclub.com, profitablecoachingclub.com. Let me just create a quick thing for it. profitablecoachingclub.com. There we go. Yeah. profitablecoachingclub.com. Where did you go? There you go. profitablecoachingclub.com is where you can go. My team and I say my team and I, but I have leaders that are part of the club who also host rooms on Clubhouse. So right now we're moving to having, 6 rooms a week. And in June, that's going to increase to 7 or 8. So there's a great opportunity for you to be part of the Profitable Coaching Club. It's dedicated, the whole club is dedicated to helping you grow your coaching business. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for tuning into Profitable Coaching Conversations with WendyY Bailey. Be sure to join us at the after party at www.profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time for more sales and marketing wisdom and insight from WendyY and her amazing guests. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when new episodes are posted.